Good evening, everyone. This is Stephanie Loves Michael Jackson and Johnny Depp, and we are about to start reading Disney's Storybook Collection. And for our story tonight, I'll be reading you Bambi. One spring morning, the animals of the forest awakened to an exciting event. Bluebirds soared through the sky, chirping the news to quails, squirrels, chipmunks, and beavers. A small bunny named Thumper heard what had happened. He hopped to see Friend Owl, who was sleeping. "Wake up!" the bunny cried and thumped his foot excitedly. "The new prince is born!" Thumper and Friend Owl went to a small thicket. There, next to a proud doe, lay a newborn fawn. He was the new prince of the forest, and all the animals had come to see him. The little prince tried to stand up, but his legs were wobbly, and he fell right back down. Thumper giggled. "What you gonna call him?" he asked. "I think I'll call him Bambi," the mama deer said as she nuzzled her son. Soon Bambi and his mother went for their first walk. Bambi met many of the forest animals along the way. First, Mrs. Quail and her baby stopped to say hello. Then Mrs. Possum and her family, who liked to hang upside down from a tree, greeted him. Next, a mole poked his head out of the ground to wish Bambi a good day. Later, Bambi tried to scamper, and he slipped on a reed. "He doesn't walk very good, does he?" Thumper asked. "What did your father tell you this morning?" Thumper's mother asked him sternly. "If you can't say something nice," the bunny replied guiltily, "don't say nothing at all." The bunny and his sisters ran over to help Bambi up. Then they began to play together, showing him how to hop over a log. When they pointed out some bluebirds, Bambi tried to speak. "Bird-da!" he said slowly. With a little practice, it got easier. "Bird, bird, bird, bird," Bambi cried. Bambi and Thumper continued to explore the forest. A yellow butterfly landed on the fawn's tail. Bambi was fascinated with it and soon learned how to say butterfly. When it flew to a brightly colored flower patch, Bambi and Thumper followed. Thumper taught his new friend the word for flower. Bambi was smelling the flowers when he found himself nose to nose with a skunk who had been doing the same thing. "Flower," Bambi said proudly when he saw the skunk. Thumper laughed. "That's not a flower. He's a little—" The skunk interrupted. "Oh, that's all right. He can call me a flower if he wants to," he giggled bashfully. Bambi and Thumper and Flower became great friends. One day, Bambi's mother took him to the meadow for the first time. The fawn was very excited. He hoped he might meet other deer. At the edge of the forest, Bambi saw the grassy meadow and bounded forward. His mother leaped in front of him. "You must never rush out on the meadow," she warned. The meadow is wide and open, and there are no trees or bushes to hide us. So we have to be very careful." Once Bambi's mother told him it was safe, the young deer hurried into the soft grass, eager to play in the wide open space. He had never been anywhere like this before. Bambi followed a frog and came to a pond. He stopped at the water and saw his reflection. He thought it was another deer, but everywhere he moved, it moved. Finally, he realized it wasn't another deer. It was a reflection of him. Then he saw a different image in the water and heard a giggle. A girl fawn named Feline had come to the pond. She had blue eyes and was very pretty. As Feline got closer, Bambi ran away and hid between his mother's legs. "He's kind of bashful, isn't he, Mama?" Feline asked her mother. Feline said hello a couple of times, and finally Bambi replied. Soon the two deer frolicked into the woods. They played tag and became fast friends. While Bambi and Feline were playing, a herd of stags galloped by. One was larger than all the rest, and the other animals in the forest stopped what they were doing to look at him. The stag stopped for a moment and stared at Bambi. The young prince didn't know the stag was his father. "He's very brave and very wise," Bambi's mother explained to her son. "That's why he's known as the great prince of the forest." Just then, the sound of a gunshot rang out. The animals all rushed to safety, but Bambi got separated from his mother. Luckily, the great prince guided him toward the thicket. Partway there, Bambi's mother joined them. When they made it to safety, the great prince left. Time passed, and soon it was Bambi's first winter. One day he went to the pond with Thumper, who glided across the icy surface. "Look, the water's stiff," Thumper exclaimed. Bambi leaped onto the ice and fell flat on his stomach. Thumper laughed. He showed his friend how to stand up and slide across. Winter was fun at first, but after a while, Bambi longed for the warmth of spring. He was hungry, and some of his friends, including Flower, slept all winter long, and he missed them. One afternoon, Bambi and his mother were in the forest. He was very excited because he found a small patch of grass. It looked like a feast. But in the distance, a shot rang out. Man was in the forest, again, hunting. He and his mother ran toward the thicket. "Faster, Bambi!" she urged. Just as he reached home, Bambi heard a second shot and noticed his mother wasn't with him anymore. "Oh, dear!" He looked and realized he was all alone. Oh, no! Bambi began to cry. Soon the great prince came to him. "Your mother can't be with you anymore," his father said. "Man has taken her away. Now you must be brave and learn to walk alone." Bambi lowered his head sadly. "Come, my son," the great prince said. Bambi followed his father into the forest. A couple of months later, spring arrived. Over the winter, Bambi had grown into a handsome young stag with antlers. His friends Thumper and Flower had grown up too. Before long, Flower met a pretty skunk and fell in love. Then Thumper met a beautiful bunny and also fell in love. Bambi didn't understand what had happened to his friends until he ran into Feline again. She had grown into a gorgeous doe. Bambi suddenly felt a little dizzy, but very, very happy. He and Feline were in love. Aww. One day a stag appeared and challenged him for Feline's love. The two deer fought. Bambi butted the stag, and with all his might, after a long battle, the newcomer finally limped off. Bambi had won. From that day on, he and Feline were always together. Spring turned into summer, which faded into fall. One morning, Bambi smelled something strange. Smoke. It was from a campfire. Just then, a majestic stag appeared. It was Bambi's father, the great prince. "It is man," he said. "We must go deep into the forest. Hurry!" Fear spread through the forest. Thumper and his family hid in their burrows. Flower and his family went underground. The beavers dove underwater, and the squirrels climbed high into the trees. Bambi and Feline ran, but soon a pack of dogs surrounded Feline. Bambi fought off the dogs, and Feline ran to safety. But a hunter shot Bambi, and he fell to the ground. Oh no! In the meantime, the forest had caught on fire. Oh no! The great prince came and urged Bambi to get up. The young prince used all the strength he had and followed his father to an island in the river, where the rest of the animals were waiting. They stayed there until the fire died down. Fall once again turned into winter, and winter into spring. The forest was lush and green and smelled of blooming flowers. Soon Thumper and his little bunnies were waking Friend Owl again. Feline had given birth to twin fawns. All the animals came to celebrate. But no one was prouder than Bambi, the new prince of the forest. He stood overlooking the thicket with his father, smiling down on his family, his heart filled with love. Bambi knew he would teach his children the lessons of the forest that he had learned. And that's the end of Bambi. Thank you for joining me tonight. Please have a safe night. And remember, love is everything.